winning the World Series. And take video. Welcome to Mirror Domain's Movie News, your place for entertainment headlines, and indeed this is a live news show for movie fans, where we talk about all the trending movie news headlines of the day, including our first look at the Roadhouse reboot. Vin Diesel is in some legal peril. I don't know about that. Jay and Silent Bob 3 is coming out. I don't know if we need that. Do we need the Naked Gun reboot? Scarlett Johansson's new movie's coming out too soon. Hopefully, yes, no. We'll take a look at the best horrors of 2023. According to some people, I don't know if I'll agree with that. But yeah, it's Friday, guys, so we'll take a look at what's opening up this week. And what is opening up this week is Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, Aquaman 2. So, how am I going to do this? What's going to happen here is I'm going to set up for my review, and I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of some housekeeping news here. Chris Schober in the live chat says, hey Chris, how's it going? Normally we're at 10:30, but I'm going out to see Poor Things at 12 o'clock. Yes, so I know it's going to be a busy, hectic couple of days, guys. I know. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. We're going to do our Aquaman 2 The Lost Kingdom review here just after we're done this. And then tomorrow, guys, it seems like, unless we do it really, really late tonight, it'll have to be tomorrow afternoon when we watch Rebel Moon here on the channel Mirror Domains. Because as I said, I'm running out to see Poor Things here at 12 o'clock. In 2 hours, I'm seeing Poor Things, one of my most anticipated movies of the year. So I'll be seeing that this afternoon. My reviews for Wonka are up right now. We watched the finale of Survivor season 45. And I got to address Hell's Kitchen. Yes, I thought this week they would have episode 12 of Hell's Kitchen, but it's off until the new year now, guys, so it won't be on the channel until January 4th is, I believe, when it comes back. It's on, yeah, that's what they do when it's on primetime TV. I hate it when that happens. Why can't they just run it all and have it continuous? I don't get it. But anyway, and then of course, then you know that we do movie news throughout the week here. So with that being said, let me get our Aquaman graphics all lined up, and we'll start talking about Aquaman 2. Gotta turn off the no, let's leave the chats on. Yeah, movie review. All right, good. Is this ready to rock and roll? That's ready to rock and roll. Let's do it. Okay. All right, here we go. Aquaman 2, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is in theaters right now, guys, and is it the worst movie of the year? I know that you want me to say that it is, that it's one of the most god-awful things ever put to the screen, but it's not. And we're going to talk about it. So if that's what you want to hear me rag on a movie, because that's the popular opinion, well, I'm sorry. You know, I give things a fair shake here. And I believe I said it in my straight out of the theater reaction. This movie's the definition of mid. And if you know what that means, mid. It's not that great, but it's also not that terrible. I found myself oddly invested, well, with Patrick Wilson and Jason Momoa. Their story dynamic was actually the most interesting part of the movie. So, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. It definitely has its problems, and we're going to talk about that. Aquaman balances his duties as king and as a member of the Justice League. Okay, you can remove that sentence. You can just, and as a member of the Justice League. The Justice League's not even mentioned in this movie, right? All while planning a wedding. What? What kind of synopsis is this? That has nothing to do with this movie. And that's part of the problem right there. The marketing to this, I thought started off fairly solid, but what do you mean wedding? What are you talking about? That has there's no wedding in this movie whatsoever. I don't even know who would be getting married. Because he got married to Amber. Heard. Oh, okay, yeah, we got to address that now too. Quickly off the bat, guys, if you are an Amber Heard hater, you wanted to boycott it because of this, and you just want to see me come here and rag on that and like attack her for some reason, that's not going to happen here either. There's a lot of things that we're going to have to dance around here as I'm negotiating this review. One of them is going to have to be a bad synopsis up on the IMDb. Black Manta is on the hunt for the Atlantean tech to help rebuild his armor. Orm plots to escape his Atlantean prison. Orm doesn't plot anything to get out of his prison. We've seen it in the trailers. Aquaman goes to break him out. That's what happens. So I don't know what kind of synopsis is this. It's muddled. It's all over the place. And that's sort of kind of what this movie starts out as. It's muddled. It's all over the place. It doesn't know what the heck is it about. Is it about Aquaman and his son? It starts off with a very strong message in that sense, where he's like, okay, I'm the king of Atlantis, and I'm also trying to start a family as well. And they start with trying to have that kind of storyline of, okay, there's that mirror thing that's happening where, yeah, he's got a son, but then his old man, he tries to relate to his old man who raised him, played by Temuera Morrison, right? We've seen that in the trailers too. So it's kind of like there's that father-son dynamic kind of thing that they try to start off with, and then it just kind of gets left behind. And there's going to be a lot of that going on. So if somebody said story-wise, there's a lot of story threads in here that just get left behind. I could totally understand that. And that's one of the reasons why, yes, this movie is mid. It's like this. It's got fragments of ideas that are kind of like, well, that was interesting. I want to learn more about that. Okay, we're not learning about that anymore. Okay, well, whatever. But the cast was a standout for me because I had forgotten that Dolph Lundgren was in this, and he shows up and he carries some scenes where it's kind of like, oh, cool, Dolph Lundgren. Randall Park is like a scientist in this, and again, it felt like there was storylines with Randall Park in this where, yeah, he's the scientist helping Black Manta put all of this technology together and stuff. But there are scenes where he'll appear, and he'll like have a bloody nose or something, and be like, "What happened? Did we miss a scene here? Why is his nose all bloody? Oh, we don't get to learn anything about that." And it follows the same tropes. Okay, he's helping the bad guys, and he's going to turn good at the end, and yeah, we know how that goes. So once again, as I said, it's got story problems for sure. But once you get to the part where it's about the brothers of like Jason Momoa and Patrick Wilson, that's where it really kicks off, because that's what really worked for me in the movie. They bounce off of each other so well. It's kind of like, don't call me brother, don't call me brother. And then it comes around and pays that off in the end. It pays this animosity that they have with each other because, well, Nicole Kidman's their mother, right? They go to this weird dinosaur planet or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, that stuff was like, there's definitely stuff that could have been trimmed out. And as I said in my initial reaction, there is a better movie in here. There is. I just, it gets bogged down, and from what I would guess is studio notes. The executives are up there saying, well, maybe we should highlight a little bit more about the father-son stuff. Yeah, but it doesn't really make sense to the movie. Maybe we need to recap who Aquaman is in the first 5 minutes. No, we don't need to do that. This is the second movie. What? Did Empire Strikes Back reintroduce who Luke is and explain it to us in narration? No. So why did we need it for this movie? Studio heads, I'm looking at you, man. This is all on you. All right, so let's go over to my score sheet and start to fill things out here and see where this movie could possibly land. All right, acting, directing, and story are out of a possible 2 points each. Cinematography and score are out of a possible 1 point. Acting, for the most part, guys, it's comic book movie, is serviceable. Patrick Wilson does have a couple scenes in here that could draw it out. And actually, Momoa was fairly decent, too. Was there any, like, outright cringe-worthy performance? No. And I think because of Patrick Wilson, I'm going to bump it up to 1.5 because, as I said, there is that scene in there with Dolph Lundgren where it's kind of like Dolph Lundgren gets to show a little bit of chops too. There's a look of there's a look in his face where it's like, oh, yeah, no. So that I'll give that. James Wan. I would say that this is his first major bump in the road. Technically, the film looked good. You could tell that, as I said before, there's when they're on the dinosaur planet, that a lot of the stuff did look, well, a little bit on that CGI side, that a little bit of the Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania. You could see the edge of the stage here kind of stuff that they were on. But all the underwater stuff looked great. All the underwater battles. Like, if you like that stuff about the first movie, then you're going to like that stuff about the second movie too. And as I said, it comes around. It pays off that storyline of the brothers. And that's what I would have sold this movie as. And a lot of that has to do with Patrick Wilson. Patrick Wilson brings it. So let's continue wrapping up my preliminary storyline here. I can't give it too much for the story because of all those like muddled storylines, as I said. So I'll give serviceable for that. And I'm being generous here with the directing, I think, perhaps. Cinematography and score. The music was serviceable. There were some interesting shots in here, but because of that overuse of the CGI, it kind of balances out. Yeah, there's some really cool shots in it, but then there's some also really terrible ones. It's like, whoa. The ship design in it was really cool. There's like a hammerhead submarine in this that was really cool, and they shot it well. Can I give it more for that? I think I will. Cinematography. I'll give a full point for cinematography. Yes. Okay, so watchability factor. Let's talk about that. Should you go out and watch this in the theaters because of that cinematography? Yes. Because of that relationship of the brothers there? Yes. Let's go over to the tomato meter and see what people are saying about it, because we know that it was getting review bombed before we went into this weekend. 36% by critics, 78% by the audience. So audience members they're coming out of this saying, well, maybe it's not as bad as some of the critics are saying, right? Well, let's just take a look at some of the snapshot reviews and see what people are saying. Okay, from Deadline, Hollywood Daily. The first Aquaman film maintains a balance of seriousness and fantasy. The Lost Kingdom veers into cartoonish territory. Richard Roper didn't like it. The Lost Kingdom is waterlogged with boring villains and underwhelming visuals. Underwhelming visuals, and I just gave full points to the visuals there. Roper, what are you talking about? Let's take a look at somebody who did like it. There's over 200 million worth of eye candy in the story of our hero's attempt to save the world from Black Manta and global warming, and about $5 worth of originality in the screenplay. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, as I said, guys, this has got some story issues. It does. You'll be a little bit convoluted in the beginning. But Momo was having fun in every scene that he's in. Even in ones where he's got to try to act dramatically, there is one moment where he does get to show a little bit of emotion of like panic a little bit, where he's like, "Don't you touch my son," kind of thing. Yeah, I think we saw it in a TV spot or something. But yeah, there's a few scenes in there where his charisma is enough to carry you, right? But then, as I said, once you get into the brother storyline, that's the best part for me. That's the part that I related to. Black Manta as the villain, we saw some criticism there. I'll tell you this, I was thankful that at least with the DC movie here, they're trying to develop the villain over a couple films, right? And I could totally see maybe even a third one where he does actually get to have a bigger arc completed. Oh, did I just spoil some things there? Maybe not, guys. Maybe not. Don't worry about that. He was fine. He wasn't over the top memorable. He was after like world domination, world destruction kind of stuff there. Uh, he gets corrupted by the trident there, kind of thing. That's what gives him the powers. We've seen that in the trailers, so we get to learn more about that, and that's the tie-in to the Lost Kingdom subtitle. So that part makes sense. So when I go over and I read the synopsis on the IMDb, I'm lost for words. All while planning a wedding. What wedding? Was there a storyline in here where him and was it Mara were not married at the time? But they changed all of that. I don't get that. Yeah, and Martin Short's in this. That took me by surprise in the final credits. There is one mid-credit scene, guys. There is a mid-credit scene that you might want to stick around for. It's not that big of a thing. It doesn't tie into the rest of the universes or anything like that. It's more kind of like a joke type of thing, right? It's not that substantive. And it does happen mid-credits, really closer to the beginning of the credits, so it's not that big of a deal. Overall, let's try to wrap things up here so I don't continue rambling on here. Where are we sitting at? We're sitting at a 5 out of 10, so that is mid. Is this something that I would watch again? Well, it's got an interesting premise. It's Aquaman 2, so you're going to be wanting to see it because of that. But it's worth watching in the theater, I would say. So maybe it's just above mid in my books. And I don't think I could go any higher than that. I was being generous with the cinematography there. I could easily knock this down to 5.5. But there are things in there, as I said, there are value. There's value in there. But if you're looking at it to jump on and tear to pieces, of course, those left storylines that are like oozing out on the sides, it feels a little bit sloppy in the beginning. Yes, you can totally see people tearing it apart for that. Totally. But guys, you have to remember here, I'm going to share something with you. I have seen 90 plus movies this year, and I've seen some real stinkers. This is not a stinker, but it's about typical fare of comic book movies that we're getting now. That's what I would say. And I think that's where I'm going to leave it. 6 out of 10 for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. I think I've said it all, guys. What do you think? Are you going to go and see it this weekend? Let me know in the comments below, and we will talk about it. All right, if you like this kind of stuff, my reviews for, well, of course, Aquaman will be up on the channel after this, and then we'll be watching Rebel Moon, Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon this weekend, so come join us for that. My review for Poor Things will be up later on today. Reviews for Waka is up. We watched Survivor Season 45 finale this week. We're on a hiatus now for Hell's Kitchen until the beginning of the new year. And of course, then, you know, we do movie news here live throughout the week. So you guys can come and join us live and talk about these things. Come join us and talk about Aquaman. Let me know in the live comments. You get that chance. Yeah, if not, enjoy your weekend. There's a lot of other movies coming out, and we will be doing a movie news show later in just a little bit, continuing on, where we'll be talking about all this stuff, including what else is opening up this weekend. So if you like this stuff, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and I'll see you next time on Mirror Domains. Okay, so that will be cut out and put on the channel later on. I'm really perplexed as to what the heck IMDb is talking about. This is one of the reasons why I do read the synopsis. It's wedding. What do you mean Orm plots to escape? That's not what happens. Yeah, that's some tomfoolery there, right? Yes, no, yes. All right, let's get back into what's opening up this week. Chris Schober said, I heard Rebel Moon Part 1 was pretty interesting, James. I watched it last night. Okay, good. Yeah, I was going to watch it today, but then I was looking at my schedule. Tomorrow I'm busy all in the morning, so I would miss the 12 o'clock show, and it's the weekend, so it's kind of like I don't want to be stuck in the theater with a whole bunch of people watching Poor Things. So I'll watch Poor Things today, and then we'll watch Rebel Moon tomorrow, and then I'm going to go see Iron Claw on Sunday. So it's going to be a busy week for me, guys. It's going to be busy, but we'll get it all done before Christmas, and I get all my reviews up and stuff like that. So we will be on track for that. Okay. What is opening up this weekend? Well, Aquaman 2 is opening up this weekend, guys, and we just did a review for it, so yeah, you know that because you've been watching it. But what else? Migration opens. Anime or computer animated film. Anyone But You, romance. Sydney Sweeney, Glenn Powell also opens up. That's low on the totem pole for me, right? I'm sorry, because the Iron Claw is also opening up, which is what I want to see. I'm going to see that on Sunday. I'm really looking forward to that one. And then I'm seeing Poor Things at 12 o'clock here. Donkey, indie film. Solar Part 1. Ceasefire. I don't know what that is. Anyone But You, Iron Claw. There's Poor Things. So I'm seeing Poor Things here at 12 p.m. Yorgos Lanthimos. Emma Stone. Big cast. Kind of like a Frankenstein type movie. I don't know what the heck's going on with that. Willem Dafoe. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. What else is opening up this weekend? Besides Iron Claw, Migration, Aquaman, Poor Things. Oh, yes, of course, Rebel Moon on Netflix. And we will be watching Rebel Moon here, guys, tomorrow. As I said, we could watch it later. Like, it would have to be like around 9 o'clock at night to watch it. Then I wouldn't be done till about 11:30 at night. And it's just too much. It's too much for me today, guys. I'm sorry. I apologize. I've got to run out and do all these other things too. In the interim, I've got a meeting I got to be at 7 o'clock. So it's kind of like, ugh. Oh, it's a busy time, guys. It's a busy time as we run up to well, Christmas. But I am looking forward to Rebel Moon. I don't know. Again, this is going to be like an Aquaman scenario, right? The critics don't like it, but the audience seems to. So good, good. So maybe I'll be just like them. I'll be like, well, everybody, the critics didn't like Aquaman 2. Actually, I didn't mind Rebel Moon. That's what I'll come out saying. Hopefully, that's what I'm thinking. Rebel Moon. Maestro is also out on Netflix as well, so we'll have to pay attention to that. Of course, Wonka is going to have its second week here, and it kind of sucks that Anyone But You will be like shortlisted. But it's kind of like, guys, I'm sorry. 3 big films: Iron Claw, Poor Things, and Aquaman are all coming out this weekend, and then on Christmas Day we're getting Color Purple, right? What else? Ferrari comes out, right? Wait, where the heck is the marketing for Ferrari? Where is that? There's maybe it's next week when Ferrari. Boys in the Boat also comes out. Okay, there's Ferrari. Like, where the heck is the marketing for Ferrari? Nobody. There's like no buzz for Ferrari. Right? Let's see if I can pull that up on the Rotten Tomatoes. 73% by critics, and this is one of my final most anticipated of the year, because it's Michael Mann. It's got Penelope Cruz, Adam Driver, and one of my favorite actresses, Shailene Woodley, and I'm really looking forward to it because I do like the story of the cars, and I hear that Penelope Cruz is doing something really cool in this movie, so I want to see that. And I want to see what Michael Mann still has his chops. So yeah, as I said, we've got a lot of things opening up in the theater this weekend, and we'll have to see how this all balances out in the box office. I think Aquaman 2 will be the number one. This is from last week, guys. So remember, everything will get chopped down in about half. Wonka, no, maybe not even half. Wonka will be like 20 million to 25, I think. So that'll be up there. So I do think that, despite I don't hear anything about migration either. I don't hear a single little blip about migration. 72% about migration. It's a kids movie, and it's going to have staying power because it's a kids movie. But so is Wonka, right? Where will that land? So this is going to be one of the tougher prognostications. I'm going to say Aquaman 2 is number one, Migration's number two, Wonka will retain number three, Iron Claw. Oh, I don't know. Between Poor Things and Iron Claw, yeah, I don't know where everything is going to settle after that. Everything here from two down is going to get knocked out of the top five. Wonka will be the only one that will be able to hang in there, is what I'm thinking. Because you got Migration, and I don't know the buzz about that. Anyone but you will have a tough time cracking the top five. But I think Iron Claw's getting some decent word of mouth, and I do want to see it. It's one of the few that I do want to see. So we're going to have a busy couple weeks here to try to get all of these things out, guys. But we will get it. Don't worry. It'll all be done before the end of the year. I will try to get all of the best and worst lists put out on a timely schedule. All right. But those are our options. And it's good to have options, especially over the holiday season here, right? Let's talk about Superman Legacy. It seems like we're getting information on like almost a daily basis. Superman Legacy filming window and plot synopsis revealed. A new Superman plot synopsis points to James Gunn's film revolving around Kryptonian heritage. Well, we knew that. He said that in the log line of his announcement, right? So hopefully it'll take flight on March 4th, 2024 is when principal photography starts. Okay, good. March 4th? 3.5, well, just a touch over 3.5 months away from now, right? All right. So, what is the plot synopsis? I'm guessing this is just going to be a small one. Superman, a cub reporter in Metropolis, embarks on a journey to reconcile his Kryptonian heritage with his human upbringings as Clark Kent. Well, isn't that what he's always trying to do? He's always trying to reconcile his Kryptonian heritage. I want to see him take on bad guys. What are you doing? Nicholas Holt, well, as Lex Luthor will be there. Isabella Merced is Hawkgirl. Yeah. So there will be other stuff in there, but that's not. Is that something that? Well, Superman Legacy does get headlines out there. It does get draws, so that's one of the reasons why we have to talk about it. Pfeiffer there in the live chat says, "Hey, how's it going?" All right. So that's pretty much. Is that all the Superman stuff? Yeah. Let's move on. Roadhouse. Roadhouse reboot gets a new look at Jake Gyllenhaal smacking bad guys in Prime's 2024 preview. Yeah, so just like Netflix does with the announcements of the year's slate, Prime put out a video of just like a montage of all the stuff coming out. And in that, we saw just a little bit of, I guess, Gyllenhaal outside. I guess what this is going to be the new double douche. Or sorry, double deuce. Yeah, and he's going to get into it with some ruffians. Starts punching. You know that he's going to throw down. And you know what? I would like to see Gyllenhaal be our next Batman. Why can't Gyllenhaal be Batman? Right? And it's just a small clip in there. It's laced in with a whole bunch of other stuff from Invincible, Them, concert stuff, Josh Brolin. So it's tied in with a bunch of other stuff. So if you are a Prime member, then you'll be able to watch all this stuff. Oh, Kaylee, is Kaylee going to be in the new stuff? I like Kaylee. I like Kaylee Cuoco a lot. So hopefully we'll see more from her next year too. Superman should do a Godzilla -0 type movie, a good story and fighting baddies. Yeah, exactly. If Superman Legacy was able to learn from Godzilla -1, that would be it. That would be cool. So, Roadhouse new look. You saw it there, guys, right? We saw it, right? You saw that? Did I have that up there when I was showing it? The Underdogs. Ooh, Nicole Kidman. We just saw her in Aquaman 2. What movie is that? The Idea of You. Anne Hathaway. Well, I'll have to check out that movie. You know how I feel about Anne Hathaway. Zac Efron. Gonna see him in The Iron Claw. Premier Boxing. Oh, is what the heck is Has-Been Hotel? I don't know. Whatever. That's out. So we'll take a look at that. Next. Vin Diesel. This took me by surprise yesterday, guys. This took me by surprise. Fast and Furious star Vin Diesel allegedly committed sexual battery against a former assistant. A former assistant? God, for God's sake. So, yeah, it's just, again, tearing down all these big people that we respect and idolize. For some people, you guys know how I feel about Vin Diesel. Uh, he's a little bit too big in his head. Now, I don't think he should be brought down by allegations like this. There's ways to do it, like just don't go to see his movies anymore until he finally, somebody snaps him out of it. That he's got this big ego kind of thing where it's kind of like, I show up to set when I want to, not when the call sheet says when I want to. Do I know the lines? No, but I'm the big star of the film, so he's like the male diva, guys, is what he is. Uh, and when you don't have respect for your other creators by showing up on time and knowing your lines, and then going around boasting that you're the big head honcho, there's just no time or place for that, at least in my books. But does that warrant him being alleged by this, and what's going to happen with all this? Well, it seems like everybody's getting dragged through the mud if they've got a little bit of star power. I know that there's probably going to be pundits out there that are going to go to bat for him because, well, because they like him. I'm going to say what I say about all of these legal cases. We don't have all the evidence. We're not there. We don't have all the evidence in front of us. We're not all well informed with what's going on. We just get these headlines and then we base our opinions based off of that. And well, is it going to hurt him? It was in 2010 while shooting Fast 5. And it is a lawsuit that claims Diesel forcibly groped and molested. Goo. Ooh, okay. So if he did something like this, if he did that, then yes, he will be canceled. But if Vin Diesel, he's got a big following on social media, so there will be people that, as I said, that will not be aware of all this information. Is it if he's guilty or not? If they're a fan of him, they pronounce him not guilty, regardless, without hearing any of the evidence. I'm not like that here, right? And I've waited for the Jonathan Majors stuff to come down before rendering judgment and all that stuff too. Same thing what happened with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Got to wait till it all plays out. So Vin Diesel categorically denies this allegation. So he's going to be dragged through the mud, and it's going to be kind of a legal battle kind of stuff. How's that going to shape up for Fast 10 Part 2 or Fast 11? And I don't think it's going to slow down production. They still got a timeline that they want to get this thing out on a certain time. I just think it's not going to help PR, but they got to push through it. He denies it, of course. You got to make your public statement kind of thing, right? That's kind of like what the lawyers have issued. I don't think, based on the performances of like Bloodshot, what was that Witches movie, Last Witch Hunter, those movies bombed. Nobody watched them. They were just kind of like, well, what the heck is this? Vin Diesel, outside of the properties of the Fast and Furious movies, is not a draw. People don't go see it because of him. And that's what he's kind of misread in the situation with the Fast and Furious movies, is that he thinks that people are going to see the movies because of him. They're not. They went to see it because of some really good, well executed stunt work that kind of got, well, overshadowed by ridiculousness. And of course, then he turned into a superhero. He's indestructible. And it's kind of like, well, yeah, Vin, you're not reading the crowd right. And, but he's got this big following on social media, James. Everybody loves his Instagram of him dancing around and stuff like that. They love him. They love it. And it's like, well, guys, there's a big difference between being popular on social media and then trying to become a star. What is it? Mark Plyer proved that. Nobody watched his movie. Nobody cares about his movie. Who else? If Mr. Beast himself, who can't afford it, made a big movie, yes, it would get an audience, but for the most part, casual people have no idea who the heck Mr. Beast is. And he's one of the biggest YouTubers out there, man. So, yeah, social media profiles. I mean, it helps certain things, but we'll have to see how this all plays out as movie fans and stuff like that. We will keep our eye on this as more information and as this process plays out. Because I'm sure if the lawsuit plays out and he wins, then he'll want defamation, right? We'll have to keep our eye on it. It's just kind of a weird time of the year too to also bring this out. He other than the upcoming Fast and Furious, I don't think he has anything else on his docket. It's just a weird thing, right? All right, next. Jay and Silent Bob. Jay and Silent Bob 3. Kevin Smith is working to make the new sequel unpredictable. Well, is that what you need it to be unpredictable? I don't know. I mean, as long as this is just not cheesy like the second one, where it's like the acting was so god awful and cringeworthy. It was like nails on a blackboard. Kind of like hearing Justin Long in that courtroom was just, it was like, guys, what is this, amateur hour? I don't believe any word that you're saying. And I know he's friends with everybody. He casts his friends and everything, which is, that's a good case of casting your friends and stuff and having it be a detriment to the final product. And that's what people are worried about with James Gunn casting his brother in all this stuff, that it's going to be detrimental to the final product. At least his brother, James Gunn's brother, can act. And we know that Justin Long can act. So then why didn't it work for Kevin Smith when he hires all of his friends? And I think it's because he is friends with all of them and he's directing his friends. So he doesn't have the moxie or the will in him to say, you know what, sorry, Justin, that was a really bad take. Can you do that again? He doesn't have that in him, I feel, because he's a little bit of a softie, right? When it comes to that. So he doesn't have the backbone to say, well, you know, that was terrible. Well, hey, we're all having fun here kind of thing. So let's just roll with it and we'll fix it in the editing room. Unfortunately, that didn't work out so much for the second one because the second one came and went. Nobody talked about it. Nobody reveres it. Nobody mentions it. I do like the universe, and it's going to be cool to see them back, I guess, maybe. I don't know. Have to see how it plays out. I thought Mallrats 2 was, for years, was supposed to come out, but I guess I don't know if it's happening with that. He was talking about calling it a career. I don't know. He's still working on his Netflix's He-Man series, but that's hit and miss. So we'll have to see. Once again, we'll have to keep our eye on that. Scarlett Johansson. Sony dates Scarlett Johansson Channing Tatum film, George Clooney and Brad Pitt's Wolves, for 2024. Well, guys, you know that ScarJo is my favorite actress of all time. She's my number one actress. If I ever saw her, I think I'd probably die of a heart attack. Beauty would be my end. All right. Sony has dated an untitled Apple Original Films production starring Scarlett Johansson and Channing Tatum for July 12th, formerly known as Project Artemis. Is set to screen in premium large formats with Columbia Pictures distributing. Okay, so this is George Clooney and Brad Pitt's Star Wolves, also from Apple Films, will be September 20th. Okay, wait. So you got two headlines there mixed together? Yeah, there's a comma there, James. Did you see the comma, James? Did you know that? You're just like word salad of throwing out people's names, hoping that you got me. Well, you did, because you got Scarlett Johansson me interested in this. So, Project Artemis. Uh, Project co-stars Jim Rash, Ray Romano, Anna Garcia, uh, Woody Harrelson. Set against 1960s space race, the current untitled film is written by Rose Gilroy. Johansson serves as producer. Cool. Yeah, yeah, she does that too. She produces stuff too, and that's awesome. One of the many reasons why I like her. Okay, so a space race movie, huh? Project Artemis. At the time, Chris Evans was starring with Jason Bateman directing. Evans dropped out after schedule changes due to Bateman's departure over creative differences. Well, isn't that the case for everything? Huh. All right. Well, if ScarJo was there, I'll watch it. And I got nothing against Tatum, even though that his movie Magic Mike's Last Dance is ending up on people's worst movies of the year list. I think he's got chops, and I'd like to see this movie. So, July 12th, huh? Apple Original. Wow, as long as you didn't dump $200 million on it like you did for Killers of the Flower Moon or Napoleon, then you might be okay. But, hey, Scarlett Johansson, so I'm going to see it regardless. Let's talk about that Naked Gun reboot. Naked Gun turns 35. Team on adapting failed TV series. Leslie Nielsen's magic. Reboot frustrations. Yes, reboot frustrations indeed. The Naked Gun creators are upset over Seth MacFarlane's reboot with Liam Neeson. And why are they upset? Because what? They're not going to pay respects for it? Zucker. Was it Mark Zucker? Right? Or something? What was it? Don Zucker. I can't remember. David Zucker. Jim Abrahams. Yeah, right. Jerry Zucker. That's what I'm thinking. All right. Pratt and Mike and I wrote the script for Naked Gun 4, and we heard John Gonda at Paramount had read the script and laughed all the way, but somewhere along the line they decided to go with Pat and Mike and me. So that's when Seth MacFarlane and has had Akiva Schaffer directing Liam Neeson. I never was able to meet with Seth. So they're not happy for what? That was taken away from them? It's not going to be Naked Gun 4 either. It's going to be kind of like a reboot kind of thing. I'll tell you this, guys. Naked Gun is like, it's a movie that could not be made today because it is crass. It's racy. It's got statues, fully nude statues, and he's hanging off of them and stuff like that. The comedy is in there. It's pretty risque. Um, but it's like one of those comfort movies for me. I can just watch that movie and it'll always put a smile on my face. And a lot of that has to do with Leslie Nielsen and his portrayal of Frank Drebin. And I'm really curious to see what Liam Neeson can bring to this, because yeah, a lot of people don't know that Leslie Nielsen started off as a dramatic actor, and I guess he really blew up with the Naked Gun movies and the Airplane movie. Um, Could the same thing happen with Liam Neeson? He's known for his action movies, and he's done drama and stuff, Schindler's List and stuff. He can do. He's got a long, he's got a range. So I want to see him because he'll play it straight, and he'll play it straight, right? So that's the way you have to do it, and I think he can do it. It'll be. I'm interested in seeing it, despite the original creators being kind of a little bit upset. I just don't know if it'll go that route of like people hanging off of naked statues. I don't know if it'll be like that, but I hope they have fun with it. I hope they do. Seth MacFarlane, people like his comedy, so well, especially his TV shows, right? So we'll have to see how that plays out. Best horror 2023. Yes, people are putting out their best and worst lists of the year. The best horror movies of 2023, from studio features like Scream 6 to Megan, No One Will Save You, and Infinity Pool. Now, I don't know if Infinity Pool is really a horror. It looked like it was going to be like one of those weird kind of sci-fi horrors. I'll pull up the trailer for Infinity Pool. I found myself thinking about it the other day. when I made that short with Mia Goth, because I do like Mia Goth. Uh, yeah, it started off kind of like, oh, they're on vacation in this weird island, and yeah, they're going to get killed or something, right? But then it goes into some weird kind of mind altering operations or something like that. Or are they creating clones of them? Or what the heck's going on with these weird faces? Is it really horrific? I guess it sort of is. I'll tell you this: Alexander Skarsgård does good. He does a good performance in it, man. Uh, they get tortured, and what's really happening here? It's more of a dark psychological thriller, I would say, than a horror movie. But I guess if you do get kidnapped and you do get cloned in sort of a way, I guess it maybe does qualify as horror. Maybe. Well, let's just take a look at the list. Let's do that, James. Best of the major releases. Number 10, The Boogeyman. No. Well, we're just starting your list and you're giving me The Boogeyman? That's one of the worst movies of the year, horror-wise. What are you doing? Yeah, because it just got ridiculous for me. Towards the end, it just got ridiculous. And apparently they didn't do the twist in the story, in the short story, in the movie. And the twist in the short story made so much sense that if they pulled it off in the movie, and they did it in the movie, then yes, I would be like you. And I would say that, okay, yeah, that twist was good, but they pulled back on that punch. And it was kind of like, well, then the movie just kind of like fell. You saw my reviews for it. It's up on the channel. Cobweb. Never even heard of this one. Samuel Bowden taps into childhood fears in this Halloween set spookfest. Okay, his suspicions that his parents are hiding something from him, something potentially dangerous that can be traced to scratching he hears in bedroom walls at night. Huh. Cobweb. No, actually, that does sound familiar. I'll have to maybe add that to my must-see list. Cobweb. It does sound very... It's got Lizzie Kaplan in it, like her. She was in the first Cloverfield movie, right? Thanksgiving, and that's also on my must-see list of the year. I it's just at the time everything was going by so fast, and during the American Thanksgiving, so many other movies came out. I had to prioritize, and then it just kind of got away from me. It was kind of like, well, I'm a week away from it. Everybody's put out the reviews. Do I need to see it? I'll put it on the must-see list, catch-up list. So I will see the Thanksgiving movie, and it was spoiled to me in the chat, so I wasn't happy about that. Megan, good way to start off the year, I would say, with a horror movie. Very creepy, psychotic killer doll. Knock at the Cabin. Bold. That's a bold choice. There's a similarity between Knock at the Cabin and that Julia Roberts movie that just came out, Leave the World Behind, about the kind of like Knock at the Cabin, like they're the four horsemen of the apocalypse. The doomsday is about to happen. Is it happening or isn't it happening? Do we trust this? There's that kind of feeling to it. It's like, and in Leave the World Behind, with Julia Roberts, it also had a little bit of that factor where it's kind of like, yeah, there's some kind of world crisis going on. We got to stay in this house, but is it really happening or isn't it? Of course, then we find out a little bit more substantive stuff in there. So there's similarities in that. I liked Knock at the Cabin, but it didn't seem to have that kind of cultural impact that I was hoping it would be, where people would be kind of like, well, talking about it. But I'm happy to see it on people's list. So maybe it is going to have a little bit of a resurgence here at the end of the year. Oh, God. Well, then you just lost me again. Exorcist a Believer is your number 5? No, that movie was atrocious. What are you talking about? You didn't know what you wanted to do, and then it got into this silly storyline of a nun that wasn't a nun because she didn't feel like it at the time, and she just happens to be there. It's just like, for God's sakes. No, it was one of the worst movies of the year, in my opinion. Evil Dead Rise. I was harsh on Evil Dead Rise. I was really harsh because I was sold a bill of goods, and that bill of goods was mostly from other critics that were saying that it was one of the best horror movies of the year. Except when I went to see it, all I got was kind of like a rinse and repeat. That it didn't really offer that much, and it made me kind of pull my hair out at times of kind of like, okay, you unleash the evil. Why is the evil staying in this building if it can just walk out the door and go conquer the rest of the planet? Why are we consumed with this storyline? Oh, because it's a budgetary problem for the movie, not any sense for demons or anything like that. Um, that's the way I would look at it. Now, maybe I should revisit it and watch it with that mindset, but I was sold that this is one of the better horror movies of the year, and maybe I do need to rewatch it. I don't. I just. I yeah. Oh, this list is like pulling hair out. It's like pulling teeth, is what this feels like. What the heck? Is afraid it's not a horror movie? Scream 6 is a horror movie. Yeah, that's up there. That's in my top 5, probably. Because you got Kirby back. I like that. Pfeiffer says, I hate Leave the World Behind. Well, it is. Oh, Talk to Me is number 1 for... Yeah, I think that'll be up there for a lot of people. Talk to Me. That was a good horror movie. Solid. Did it resonate with me enough to be number 1? Not for me. Not for me. I started to preliminarily put my list of horror movies together. What did I have? I had Insidious the Red Door is up there in my top 5. I liked Bird Box Barcelona. I liked The Nun 2. Saw 10. Saw 10 is going to be up there in my top 5. And Totally Killer and No One Will Save You will be up there for my list as well. No One Will Save You is that alien invasion movie that I was kind of harsh on because of the sound quality at the beginning. But then I came around on it. And yeah, where's When Evil Lurks? Honorable mentions. Well, your list sucks, man. So I don't like that list. What else we got here? Lord of Misrule. Totally Killer. Yes, thank you. Thank you. We had lots of fun watching Totally Killer here, guys. I was over on Twitch. I still got to edit that and put that up on YouTube. What else is here? Brooklyn 45. I don't think I saw that. Brooklyn 45. A German woman, yeah, about a Nazi spy camp. Huh. Attachment. Meat Cute becomes Meat Puppet in the Danish horror film. Danish horror film, okay. No One Will Save You. Yeah. The more away I get from that Hulu movie, the more I think I'm appreciative of it. And I was harsh on it because of the sound quality. But when I finished watching it, and it's got one of those, if you don't like ambiguous endings, like Leave the World Behind, you might not like No One Will Save You. No One Will Save You ending either. All right, let's wrap up this list. Husara the Bone Woman. When Evil Lurks. So this person is no stranger, or he's not afraid of putting on foreign films, because When Evil Lurks was a foreign film, right? It was Spanish, I believe. Sacrifice Game. Sacrifice Game, huh? Infinity Pool is his number 2. And Rebirth is his number 1. Again, where's Saw 10, guys? I really liked Saw 10. Sick is on my list. Sick is on my must-see list. I need to still see that. I haven't tracked that down. Appendage is not worth watching at all, guys. That's on Hulu. It's really low budget, and it's not, yeah, that's not even worth your time of day. I tried watching it, and it's ridiculous, and it's really low budget, and its acting is atrocious, so don't watch Appendage. But I'll get through these lists. I'll get through my list and publish it. Probably as a short, my best Maybe my worst, yeah. And we'll tie it all together. Okay, where were we at? 10:56. Okay, guys. So as I said, I'm watching Poor Things at 12 o'clock. But tomorrow we'll be watching Rebel Moon here on the channel. I'm sorry, it's just all the schedule. My schedule is just so thick for the next couple days. And then I'm seeing Poor Things here at 12. Wonka reviews up on the channel. Season finale of Survivor. And as I said, Hell's Kitchen's on hiatus until January 4th. So that'll come back. And when that comes back, we'll be back with our reactions for that. Because people like my reactions to that, to the Hell's Kitchen stuff. And I have fun watching it. And we're like 2 or 3 episodes away from the finale of that show. So I just don't know why they just didn't steamroll through it for the Christmas break. All right. We do got a few minutes here, so why not just run up the old Twitterverse here. I heard they were saying they were going to do Loki season 3. No, for God's sakes, I hope not. And don't think we need a season 3. You agree, James? I agree, Chris. We don't need a season 3. I didn't even watch the second one. Yeah. And it's nothing against Tom Hiddleston. It's just, that character's done. For me, I've put Loki to bed. He's done. Yeah. Coleman Domingo. Oh, yeah, he's going to be in the Color Purple, right? All of Us Strangers. Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon is now streaming on Netflix. Yeah, and I'm sorry that we can't get to it today. It's just I'm prioritizing Poor Things before Rebel Moon because it's on Netflix and we can watch it anytime. And we will watch it tomorrow afternoon, guys. Tomorrow afternoon, like around 1:30, I'm thinking, we'll be watching Rebel Moon right here on the channel, Mirror Domains. So come join us for that. Scarlett Johansson, Project Artemis. Yes, we talked about that. More award show buzz. I think that's pretty much all we're getting here, right? Dominic Sessa. I don't even know who that is. Divine Joy Randolph. Barry Keoghan, Jacob Elordi. Behind the scenes of Saltburn. Gilded Age. First look at rom-com Upgraded, Camila Mendez and Charlie Renoir. I don't. Oh, that's from the Amazon Prime best hits of. All right, guys. Yeah, I got to make my breakfast and get out of here. I got to run down to the theater for 12 o'clock. So Chris Shober says, you're really enjoying it, James. Rebel Moon Part 1 is really interesting movie. I hope you enjoy it tomorrow. I hope so, too. I've got all my graphics set for it. So, as I said, when that drops, we will be watching Rebel Moon. It's right here. As I said, we could watch it later tonight, but it'll be like 9 o'clock our time. And I'd be like, I have to be up and going by 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. So it's going to be a long day for me. But hey, hopefully by Christmas or Eve day. No, I'm going to see Iron Claw Christmas Eve at 12 o'clock. Hopefully by the evening time, I'll just be able to sit down and go, okay, relax, James, relax, because I'm going to be firing on all cylinders, right? I'll be on here tomorrow. What time will it be? I'm thinking about 1:30, and if not 2 p.m. at the latest. But I'm shooting for 1:30. We'll be watching that. All right. All right, guys. If not, enjoy your weekend. Go and see Aquaman, Poor Things, Iron Claw, Migration, or see Rebel Moon on Netflix. We got lots of choices, and we'll try to hit them all before the end of the week. We'll see. Enjoy your weekend. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays from your friend here, James, at Mirror Domains.